Hello, my audience. My name is Jake. I'm reviewing a Marvel movie. I just don't remember which one exactly, so I'm just going to talk about the movie called Iron Man and the trilogy is part of. I'm giving. Did I say Iron Man? I meant the Avengers. Silly. I meant to say the Avengers. I give the Avengers, the first one from 2012 to Marvel's The Avengers, a 7 out of 10. And I give Avengers Age of Ultron a 7 out of 10. And I give Avengers Infinity War a 7 out of 10. And I also give. Wait. I feel like I'm forgetting one of the. How many Avengers movies I did? I forget. I'm gonna count. Okay. The first. Well, talking about the first one. The first one is when the team nice by the MacGuffin of Coulson, who was that hasn't really interacted with any of the Avengers at all a whole lot. Barely knows these ones, so but that what takes them to bring them the team together against a Loki and the Satari army that invades New York that's being led by Loki, and then we find out Thanos is the master puppet behind everything. But then he arrives in Infinity War after making a cameo at the end of Age of Ultron, where he's putting on the Infinity Gauntlet in the final clip. He appears in of Age of Ultron ending at a post-credit scene. And Avengers Age of Ultron is the one where they all go up against Ultron and his army, and there's multiple versions of Ultron, of many of Ultron and his army, and also try and take over, become world domination of figure, and blah blah blah. Because he's an evil AI created by Tony Stark, and yes, this sounds like the plot to 2001's A Space Odyssey, but it's thrown tons of jokes in, so in a romantic, fruity to your love story with Neff and Banner love story. That's to be or not to be, like Romeo and Juliet, how they all like instead of having something exciting, you have like they commit suicide, like Romeo and Juliet. But instead, we just see them have a distant break off as Banda shuts off Romanoff from the Quinjet and goes on his own path, blah blah blah, and stops communicating with the Avengers. Do you think that was going to go somewhere interesting? But no, that leads into Thor Ragnarok, known as Thor 3. So, You know what? I got a good video. I'm going to have all the Marvel movies from the first three phases, since feel like talking about all of them in this video. So now let's talk about Ragnarok. So Ragnarok takes place after Thor 1 and 2 and after the Avengers events of in the Infinity Saga bunch ride that he appears in for cameos and small minor roles in his own movie. And Thor is rebooted to be a more comedic relief character, and so is Hulk and Banner. And the only problem is Hulk's kind of an asshole. He's just fighting and killing slaves that are forced into battle, like forced to fight the top champion. And Hulk's the top champion, winning every fight. So he's just doing this because he's enjoying it. It seems like because he's like an asshole. Written into a character. A unsympathetic asshole who shows no remorse for what he's doing. You know, this movie made people hate the Hulk, and I can see why. But if we're being honest, I think this started with me with Age of Ultron when they nerfed the Hulk by making the Hulkbuster the overpowered machine than Hulk himself, who's supposed to be more strongest than one there is, and even more than anything Stark can like whip up with his technology, you know. Because in the comics, Hulkbuster's not as powerful as overpowered as Hulk. It's the reverse. So there's that. So that's when I thought the writing for Hulk went downhill. That's when they decided to nerf the Hulk. The second time they decided to nerf the Hulk was in this movie once he may reappear, and also now he's not only nerfed, he's now for play for nothing but laugh in gimmicks. Laugh gimmicks. It's play nothing for gimmicks of laughs. Listen, Hulk is as a character as a whole is a problem. Gets worse, and once you get to Age of Ultron, gets worse once you get to Ragnarok, and it gets starts to get shitty with Age of Ultron. And Thor 3, known as Ragnarok, I give a 6 out of 10. Because, well, it isn't the worst piece of shit they could make. As for Marvel standards, I wouldn't lie. I'd be lying if it isn't up there. I mean, it's up there with some of the worst shit they have made. I mean, it's like, this is some of the worst shit I've seen from them. Ragnarok was the whole thing. It's like, it just sucks. Ragnarok a lot. I mean, I thought Thor 4 sucked, but I thought it was better than Thor Ragnarok. For first impersonations. And That's why I think Ragnarok gets a 6 out of 10. Because there's so much I wanted the movie to end after a certain point. With Ragnarok, I just wanted the movie to end after a certain point in the movie. I think it was once they get on, it was when the once Hulk's introduced, I wanted the movie to end. And that's the majority of the movie, Hulk and interacting with Thor and stuff. But that sucks. So anyway, I give Thor Ragnarok a 6 out of 10. And this is why I give um I gave the each Avengers movie a 7 out of 10. Well, all four Avengers movies. To first one to Avengers Endgame. That would be Infinity War and Age of Ultron or the other sequels to the Avengers movies. There's the first one, Avengers Age of Ultron, then Infinity War, then Endgame, the last one. I gave a 7 out of 10. Because Endgame, look, I think it's too much confusion and for the audience with stories. I mean, like, what was I gonna say? Fuck, I knew I was talking about Avengers Endgame. I give Avengers Endgame 7 out of 10. The same reason why I have to give, like, a similar reason why I have to give the previous Avengers movies a 7 out of 10. For similar reasons, you know? I mean, none of them really, I lost the train of thought I was going to say, okay? So that's why I give Avengers, the four Avengers movie a 7 out of 10. Now, I'm going to talk about Captain Marvel movie. That's the prequel to the cinematic universe that takes place after Captain America, but before the other movies in the timeline. It takes place in the 90s, and that's how it's something about the ship that Captain Marvel drives, flies, and in the air when she flies the ships, like jets she flies as a pilot. She's a pilot, Air Force pilot, one of the Air Force, it's kind of stupid. Nick Fury gets the Avengers Initiative idea name for the name of the jet that she flew. Captain Marvel. That's stupid. It's as stupid as how Nick Fury lost his eye. We thought it was going to be something lead to like a Nick Fury movie, but really it just led to a Captain Marvel movie where an alien cat scratches Nick Fury's eye and he loses permanent eyesight on one eye. Well, that's stupid. Remember when the Winter Soldier came out, we thought Nick Fury was interesting. We thought that story was going to lead to him losing his eye was going to lead to an interesting backstory of a more trusting Nick Fury. Well, he can like kiss that goodbye from here on out. Because this turns Nick Fury a one-dimensional punchline of a character. It's a comedic relief foil in the plot of the movie, and he's incompetent at his job. He's never given one to be badass or competent like you want Nick Fury to be. He's honestly is a bit of a phony come across. We find out Nick Fury the character is a bit of a 100% full of shit phony. Nothing's real about him, although his trials and life. So, don't you want to punch the guy for talking shit to Captain America of how tough he's had it? Now, I do. The character alone, Nick Fury, he's just full of shit. Well played, Marvel. Nice way to destroy your audience expectation, get them to walk away from your product. But I would say that unfortunately, this movie made money. Well, was it the events since it came out on Facebook? Pretty much everyone was making money for the phases, their money back. And well, I think it was happened. This movie made money because it got like there was a hype train going with Marvel popularity, so it oversold itself to the public. I mean, we gave it too much money. The public. This movie gets a 6 out of 10 for me. Captain Marvel sucks. Now I'm going to talk about Ant-Man the Wasp, the first Ant-Man movie sequel to Ant-Man the Wasp gets a 6 out of 10. It sucks. It's a mediocre letdown. And Ant-Man is basically Nick Fury, as in he's the incompetent comedic relief character 100% now. Instead of more of a competent hero, he's a shittier hero of himself than he was in the first Ant-Man movie, Scott Lang, played by Paul Rudd again. And this movie's a piece of shit. I give it a 6 out of 10. And I'm going to talk about Thor and Thor the Dark World. I give those both of them a 7 out of 10 because they're fine for what they are. They're not shit. So and the competent enough made as final products of an ongoing franchise. Thor 1 and Thor 2, known as the Dark World, both get a 7 out of 10. Now I'm going to talk about Iron Man 3. I give that a 6 out of 10 because that movie, well, fuck, that sucked. I want to say I like the movie, but I liked it as a 6 out of 10. As in, I thought this movie was kind of pointless in hindsight for the franchise, and no reason to exist in the cinematic universe's installment Iron Man 3. And the ending doesn't really matter or make sense in hindsight because Iron Man never gave up on it. He did it till he died on his as his final act in the story. So it's just pointless Iron Man 3. You can skip it, I recommend skipping it. It's not worth viewing Iron Man 3. And I give Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 1 a both 7 out of 10. They're fine for what they are, good, competent, written versions of of these movies for the final draft. I think Iron Man 2 is a little better than Iron Man 1, though, for me. And, I give, Ant-Man 1 a 7 out of 10. Because it's fine. It's not bad, but it's like it's complicated enough for if it's a. This doesn't feel entirely pointless and stupid like Iron Man 3. Yeah, but so it's one of the better ones. I like Ant Man 1, and Guardians Volume 1 and 2. I give a 7 out of 10. And Spider-Man Homecoming, I give a 7 out of 10. And Spider-Man Far From Home, I give a 7 out of 10. And the Captain America trilogy was Chris Evans. I would give that a 7 out of 10. And Edward Norton's Hulk movie, 2008, a 7 out of 10. Um, I don't think Black Panther was that good of a movie. I give that a 6 out of 10. It was kind of mediocre, I thought. The over want movie. It's kind of sucked. But Michael B. Jordan was a good villain. But and Claw was a good villain in the movie. Before they had killed both villains off in the movie. Instead of saving them for the future. Because we can't have nice things. But yeah, that gives a 6 out of 10 Black Panther. And I give um so yeah, I give Black Panther a 6 out of 10. And Doctor Strange 2016 a 7 out of 10 for it's competent enough written and put together as a final product that's half baked of a script. But it's one of the better ones in the Marvel Universe. It was in the first three phases of the universe. Well, I give it a 7 out of 10, Doctor Strange. So that's my review on Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3 of Marvel Studios, and what I think of each of their movies in the first three phases. And it all gets worse from here after Phase 3. It wraps up and into Phase 5. Story wise and financially for Marvel gets worse. And everyone seems to call this the gold standard timeline for Marvel for the first three phases because they made money. But I don't think so. I don't think there was ever really a gold standard record for Marvel in any of the phases. I mean, if I was being generous. I would say phase 1 or 2 would be the gold standards. But I think, I don't know, I feel like there was too many in coming out around phase 3 at once with their movies. And I guess was, I guess, had to keep up quality. When you're just hiring random shit people that don't even care for the source material or know what they're doing. Like Taika Waititi that directed Thor 4 and Thor 3. Even when the Thor movies, the first two ones, already got a following of a fan base. So rather than using Thor 3 to build up what the fans wanted, more of the Thor character being cool and mythology and shit of Asgard shit, you decide to bring in Taika Waititi into his vision of how he destroys the whole legacy of everything you want to see in the Thor movie. Was Asgard and his friends from Asgard and Asgard itself. So Thor's no longer God anymore by the time uh, Infinity War happens. So that's why but somehow his power up, he's able to get a power up from the hammer called Windbreaker that grants him life when he's when he's flatlining from a bolt of star for getting hit with a bolt of star in the movie of Infinity War. Yet he's not a god; he's a more man than God, I guess, because he in the movies he draws his powers from his godlike powers from Asgard. So I guess he's now a man now more than a god. Yet he still has the powers of lightning and thunder, and lightning can still summon it. And okay, but I guess he just doesn't have like a long lasting life as much. It's not really explained, so you try not to think about it. So that's why Captain America gets a 7 out of 10 trilogy. Wait, I was talking about Thor. Taika Waititi's Thor. Shit, but I meant to give Captain America trilogy just 7 out of 10 at some point in this video. And that's my thoughts on the cinematic universe for the first 3 phases. Bye. Subscribe. Like this video.